capital on the Nigerian Television Authority, the NTA. I'm Rhoda Obo. The House of Representatives plenary sitting on Wednesday suspended temporarily Abdul Mumin Jubri for 180 legislative sitting days and bars him from holding position of responsibility until the end of the 8th National Assembly. We'll bring you details of this in our subsequent news belt. Now let's link up with our Benin Network Center for an update on the Edo election. All right, we seem to not have been able to establish that connection yet, but once we do, we'll get to Benin for an update on the election. The trial of Senate President Bukola Saraki, his deputy Ike Korimadu, and the former clerk and his deputy in the rules forgery charge brought against them by the federal government could not commence on Wednesday. Aliu Tukuru tells us why.
President, his deputy and two others are standing trial on two-count charge bordering on alleged criminal conspiracy and forgery of the Senate Standing Rule 2015 since June this year, which they all pleaded not guilty to. Prosecution counsel Aliu Umar told the presiding judge, Justice Yusuf Halilu, that he is not ready to proceed with the trial because he received a motion filed by counsel to one of the defendants on 26th of this month, stating that he is entitled to a statutory time to respond to the motion. Umar, who led the government legal team, informed the court that the Office of the Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice has not handed over the case files to him yet. As such, he applied for adjournment to enable him prepare his reactions to the series of motions filed by the defendants. Counsel to the Senate President and his deputy, Paul Irokoro and Joseph Daudu respectively, objected to the request, insisting that the matter was slated for trial over 2 months ago and the motion had been filed since June and was served on the Attorney General of the Federation. Likewise, counsel to the former clerk of the National Assembly and his deputy, Ikechukwu Ezechukwu and Mahamud Magaji, also objected to the prosecution's application not to commence the trial. Justice Yusuf Halilu adjourned the case to Friday, the 7th of next month, and added that the 4 defendants should continue to enjoy the bail granted them since June. In Abuja, Aliu Tukur, NTA News.
Vice President Yemi Osinbajo says the announcement of $10 billion concessional agreement to African states over 10 years period at the 2015 India-Africa Summit by the Indian government is a clear demonstration of brotherhood. He said this at a dinner organized in honor of the visiting Indian President Mohammad Ansari at the State House Banquet Hall. Gideon Ifade reports.
Since his arrival into the country early in the week, an official visit, the Indian Vice President has engaged in a number of programs, which include a bilateral talk with Vice President Yemi Osinbajo, where discussions centered on economic relations, peace and security, and consular matters. The two Vice Presidents also addressed a joint Nigeria-India Business Forum, which Vice President Yemi Osinbajo at this dinner says demonstrated the tremendous opportunities that exist.
Clearly ours is a brotherhood that is not only strong but has stood the test of time. Your Excellency, the future of Nigeria-India relations is very bright indeed. The challenges we face in international terrorism, giving hope and opportunity to a restless, ever-growing number of young people, and sustainable development are clearly not insurmountable.
While commending the Nigerian government for the warm reception, Vice President Mohammad Hamid Ansari says all eyes are on the two countries as emerging forces of the world.
As responsible nations in a changing international order, we are committed to work together to foster the ideals of equitable representation and democratization of international institutions.
Relationship between two trading partners can always be an opportunity to boost development. We are a growing nation. India is more advanced in some areas, technology, and we can share technology with them.
From the banquet hall of the State House, Jide Onifade, NTA News.
International terrorism can only be defeated by organized international action. These were the words of the Vice President of India, Mohammed Ansari, as he addressed participants of the National Defence Course College 25 on emerging security imperatives. Defence correspondent Isaac Nkuma reports.
With terrorism posing the biggest threat to international peace and sovereignty of states, India's Vice President Mohammed Hamid Ansari says restructuring the international legal framework by adopting a comprehensive convention on international terrorism is the way to go. He called on nations to increase their cooperation and strengthen efforts aimed at preventing supply of arms to terrorists, their movements, as well as curb and criminalize terror financing.
Management of ethnic and communal conflicts and resolving them are important areas of governance, as are the identification of threats posed by religious fundamentalism, ethnic violence, economic disparities, and deprivation.
Commandant National Defence College and the Minister of Defence, who was represented, say India and Nigeria have been linked by common historical experiences and are united in the desire to conquer terror and work towards tolerance, economic development and social justice in sustaining democracy.
The National Defence College has, over the years, shaped the thought processes of many generations of officers of our armed forces, as well as the civil service, and has also fostered a culture of strategic thinking amongst our policy makers.
This lecture is therefore vital, not only to this institution, but to our nations. I believe it will provide an important opportunity to take stock of the security challenges in the world and how it affects our current relationship.
In the meantime, Vice President Ansari says India is willing to share expertise and methodologies with interested countries on information communication technology for economic and security gains. The Indian Vice President's lecture at the college, some analysts say, will also form blocks to reactivating the Nigeria-India Joint Commission, which was first set up in 1979 to work out areas of collaborations between the two countries in the areas of economy, security, consular matters, regional and international interests. From the National Defence College, Abuja, Isaac Nkuma, NTA News.
Well, this is a quick reminder that you can watch this news live online via the NTA mobile app, which you can download on your Android device at the Google Play Store, at the Apple Store, or if you use devices with iOS. Sustainable peace in the Niger Delta region of Nigeria appears to be difficult to attain, even as the region yearns for development, which many agree cannot happen without peace. Guests discussing sustainable peace and development in the Niger Delta region on NTA's Good Morning Nigeria suggested that the search for an enduring peace in the Niger Delta region must be all-inclusive. Musbah Danwahab reports.
The issue is about the stark reality in the Niger Delta region of Nigeria. Why is the resources blessed on the region not translating to developments of it and the peoples? The agitation initially intended to ask for the development has over the years degenerated, threatening the peace which the discussants believe deserves an enduring solution that tackles the root cause of a problem.
The road to peace is sustained development. And there is, like I said a while ago, the link between peace and development, it must be packaged together.
Niger Delta Amnesty Program, initiated by late Umar Yar'Adua's administration, was basically to check the violent agitation and restore peace and development, which is the popular demand.
We need to look at it beyond just disarming people and then shooting guns to scare away agitators. We need to begin to look at the issues that in the first place cause agitation. If we deal with that root cause, there will be no need for any agitation in the future.
That maybe there's some settlement that now makes the oil to flow and we are able to meet our OPEC quota. Every person will now say there is peace in the Niger Delta. They will never ask again whether the people have drinking water. They will never ask whether the people can move about from their houses. They will not ask whether the hospitals exist. No one will want to know again because
what we see as peace is just let oil flow.
With many initiatives such as the Niger Delta Ministry, NDDC, and the statutory responsibility of state and local governments, the discussants believe that a lot still needs to be done to justify the existence of these agencies in developing the region.
The stakeholders in the region, the elders, the traditional institutions, the youths, all together have to come in a meeting to ensure that the issues concerning Niger Delta region are resolved.
They also advocated private sector participation in developing the region. In Abuja, Musbao and Wahab, NTA News.
Now, Japan is assisting internally displaced persons in Borno State who have returned to their communities with farm inputs under the United Nations Early Recovery and Social Cohesion Support Program. Lami Ali reports that distribution of the input was launched at Benningshe.
The assistance from Japanese government coming at a time when internally displaced persons are resettling in their communities covers agricultural activities, including dry season irrigation and micro-business entrepreneurship. Borno State Commissioner for Reconstruction, Rehabilitation and Resettlement, Dr. Babagana Umara, represented by the Permanent Secretary, Yerima Sale, said the exercise is targeting about 1,500 eligible farmers in 13 local government areas of Borno, which United Nations Development Program Officer, Mrs. Salim Musa, said the agricultural support from Japanese government is for the northeast zone of Nigeria.
Our sincere gratitude goes to the government of Japan. I also want to use this opportunity to say that the beneficiaries, both the men and women, we are happy to support them.
Similar distribution was carried out in Kunduga, where returnee IDPs received farm inputs like seeds, pesticides, fertilizer and sprayer. Caretaker Chairman of Kunduga, Auduladen, on behalf of beneficiaries, expressed gratitude to the Japanese government for the assistance as it would enhance food production for self-sustenance. In the meantime, UNICEF has donated insecticide-treated nets to the Kunduga returnees. Lami Ali, NTA News.
Teleprompter. NIMASA strategizes to boost the national economy. And let's get more details from our Lagos Network Center with Ademola Adeoye. Ademola, good afternoon.
Thank you, Rhoda. Good afternoon and welcome to Lagos. As part of efforts to boost the nation's economy through the maritime subsector, the Nigerian Maritime Administration and Safety Agency, NIMASA, is strategizing and restructuring to achieve this aim. The Director General of the agency, Dr. Dakuku Peterside, made this known in Lagos while on tour to assess the state of facilities. Tunde Saiki reports.
The visit by the Director General is to assess situation on ground sequel to the restructuring of NIMASA to effectively deliver on its core mandate. At the Western Zonal Office Apapa, he was conducted around the premises by the Zonal Coordinator Aisha Musa. He told the staff that the restructuring will be strategic and will enhance the work environment, improve welfare package and lead to optimal productivity.
And to ensure that you take the maritime industry in Nigeria to the next level. To ensure that you
can cultivate the attitude to safeguard high standards of care and create the right environment to achieving excellence in clinical care.
We have issues with infrastructure, we have issues with service delivery, maybe the behavior of the personnel. At times you have people say no, they come to the hospital and somebody is rude to them. Issues like that, issues with our equipment we have, are they functional, are they not? So we're trying to train our senior civilian staff to also take ownership of looking after running the hospital.
Permanent Secretary of the Ministry of Defense, Danju Masheni, emphasized that the principles of improving quality services and providing excellence in clinical care are important to everyday clinical practices for all health professionals. He advised participants to imbibe the culture of work ethics of discipline, productivity, and efficiency.
Good medical health can be achieved through teamwork.
The training, attended by senior civilian medical officers from the rank of Assistant Director, is tagged Clinical Governance. In Lagos, Joy Ken Abapoya, NTA News.
Well, that does it from Lagos. It's back to you, Rhoda, for more on Nationwide. Good afternoon.
Thank you very much, Ademola. The federal government has approved a new national water policy aimed at improving the management, delivery and utilization of water resources in the best interest of the nation's economy. Minister Suleiman Adamu announced this while briefing newsmen at the end of a Federal Executive Council meeting presided over by President Muhammadu Buhari.
Nigeria has the potential of 3.14 million hectares of land for irrigation, out of which only 130,000 has been developed formally and only about 70,000 is being utilized. So there is a huge gap, and we feel that introducing this policy will help us to work along at federal level and at regional level with the states, so that we have an all-encompassing policy that will help our drive, our agricultural agenda for now, and also support the national irrigation policy that we introduced under our roadmap that is supposed to be from this year to 2030. It wouldn't go well without this policy.
Many countries have gone to war over the issue of water. So I believe that it's really very timely that Nigeria is proactive and has considered the issue of water resources a matter that the federal government should take up seriously, and this is why the Honorable Minister brought about a lot of revolutionary measures and vision into the water resources.
Chairman, House Committee on Nigeria-China Relations, Yusuf Buba Yakubu, says Nigeria's interaction with China at the legislative level will help tap from their wealth of experience and apply in addressing the nation's economic challenges. This was at the inaugural meeting of the committee. National Assembly correspondent Ifeanyi Ezumba reports.
Recall that President Buhari visited China to see how Nigeria and that country can upscale relationship, prompting setting up of the committee to interact with Chinese parliamentarians from time to time on specifics in economic matters.
The electorate in Edo State have turned out in their number to cast their vote for the next chief executive of the state. Our team of reporters covered the exercise compiled by Ugochukwu Ona.
The turnout in most of the centers visited was impressive. The electorate were orderly and voting materials arrived early. Apart from a few cases of malfunctioning card readers, voting was smooth. The governorship candidates of APC and PDP cast their votes in their various wards, commending the conduct of the electorate.
Everything so far seems to be working normal. People are happy, they're excited. God has been great. The weather has been very clement.
I'm happy that at least in this place the card reader has worked. So what I've seen here, I'm impressed.
Governor Adams Oshomole, who spoke to reporters after casting his votes, expressed satisfaction with the exercise.
I am very impressed about the level of turnout. You can see young men and women and elders queuing up peacefully. I believe this is a perfect example of the way it should be.
The national chairman of APC, the Minister of State for Health, and other electorates commended the impressive turnouts by the voters.
Democracy has become totally widespread. It's a very good thing I'm noticing.
In line with the restriction of movement, the streets were empty. From Esako West Constituency 1, David Ire reports that election materials arrived early without hitch. From Irekwen, Esam West, Kevin Ewonwaye also reports that the exercise is going on successfully and voters say it is an improvement on previous elections. In Benin, Ogochukwu Ona, NTA News.
In the meantime, some travelers passing through Benin City, the Edo State capital, were caught in the web of movement restriction. Eloho Agbra tells us more.
This is the Aoshe-Beni bypass. The restriction of vehicular movement through this route is not in full force as there is no security presence here as at the time of this report. The situation is not different at the Agbo Expressway as vehicles are seen traveling to other neighboring towns. This is the Warri-Sapele Expressway. Travelers to other parts of the country are stopped as they cannot continue with their journey because of the election. You are aware of the restriction of movement in Edo State due to the governorship election today. So why are you here, sir?
I'm on transit to Lagos for an interview, and this is a federal road. So sincerely, they should allow us to go. And you know, if they have to do anything, look at our cars, search them. If they don't allow us to go.
You've heard from travelers stuck here in Warri-Sapele bypass. I am Elo Agbra, NTA News.
That's our take from Benin. Back to you, Rhoda.
Thank you very much, Sani, there for us in our Benin Network Center. Here's another reminder that you can watch this news live online via the NTA mobile app, which you can download on your Android device at the Google Play Store or at the Apple Store if you use devices with iOS. We'll take a short break now, and when we return, we'll bring you more stories on Nationwide. Stay with us.
When has it reached this? Much less this. And this. And this. And this. Help reclaim our Commonwealth. Lend your support to the fight against corruption for a better Nigeria.
President Muhammadu Buhari has approved the program of events to commemorate Nigeria's 56th independence anniversary. Detail of the program is as follows. Friday, 30th September, public lecture 11 a.m. to 12:50 p.m. Venue, National Mosque, Abuja. Attendance is open. Jumat prayers 1 p.m. to 2:30 p.m. Venue, National Mosque, Abuja. Attendance is open. Saturday, 1st October, presidential change of guard. Venue, forecourt of the Presidential Villa, State House, Abuja. Attendance is strictly by invitation. Bolaji Adebi, Director Press, Office of the Secretary to the Government of the Federation. Announcer.
Now, you can hold that dream occasion without stress. Horizon Caterers will provide answers to all your catering questions. Exquisite hall designs, mouth-watering and nourishing local and continental cuisine, suitable for all types of ceremonies, including weddings, AGMs, business luncheon, cocktails. Name it, we can bring it. Our chefs and executive waiters give your guests that unforgettable experience in service. Our service covers all states of the Federation. Call us today to book your occasions. 0805-502-9637, 0803-450-9726, 0909-9708-111. Horizon Caterers. Experience catering beyond the horizon.
This is to announce the launching of a biography on President Muhammadu Buhari titled Muhammadu Buhari, The Challenges of Leadership in Nigeria, authored by renowned Professor of International Studies at George Mason University, USA, Professor John N. Pardon. Date is Monday, 3rd October 2016. Venue, International Conference Center, Area 10, Abuja. Time, 9 a.m. prompt. Book reviewers, Asiwaju Bola Tinubu, All Progressive Congress National Leader, Dr. Ogbonnaya Onu, Minister of Science and Technology, Ambassador John Campbell, former U.S. Ambassador to Nigeria, Professor Ibrahim Gambari, Nigeria's former representative to the United Nations. Announcer, Organizing Committee.
Don't go there. Professor's not around.
Now your father asked me this.
Don't be silly.
Don't be quack. I was talking. I just say, Prof, they find fair, fine girl. Now I say, make I bring this my Rihanna.
I was not so yellow girl. I was so yellow face. And black body.
This week on your award-winning comedy series, Professor John Bull, starring Kanayo Okanayo, Mercy Johnson, Queen Wokoye, Funky Malam, Oguz Baba, Ime Bishop, Yomi Fash Lanso, MC for God, Stephen Odingbe.
I almost pretend you're here.
We are not eating pepper meat.
Bedoya, smile! Olari, smile!
Professor John Bull, fasten your seatbelts this Tuesday and Friday, 8:30 to 9 p.m. on NTA Network, International, and Star Times. It's absolutely bombastic.
Over and
the largest data network, Glow, Grandmasters of Data.
Our latest edition of TV Guide is out. This edition of your favorite magazine will simply blow your mind. The package is loaded and our offering is quite illuminating. NTA has a new Director General, Yakubu Ibn Muhammad, a tested and trusted professional, an old wine that keeps getting better with age. This is the new driver of the digital switch over train. Get to know him more in TV Guide. And now, on our cover is one of Nigeria's most finest comic actors, Afiz Oyetoro, aka Saka. Peep into his world and you will see how he is putting from glory to glory. The change agenda of President Muhammadu Buhari, we did an assessment so far. All our refreshing columns and incisive features are a collector's item and research materials. TV Guide, available on your newsstands and in all NTA stations nationwide. Also in our embassies in United Kingdom, USA, China, Ghana and Egypt. TV Guide, grab a copy and give one to a friend. TV Guide, still your indispensable companion.
Welcome back. You're still watching Nationwide on the network service of the NTA. A cross-section of the road at Gidan Maya on Mina-Bidda Highway, just about 20 kilometers to Bidda, has caved in, making the road impassable for motorists. While the FRSC and the Niger State Ministry of Works are making efforts to restore access, motorists have been advised to adhere to the following directions. Travelers from Lagos Bidda heading to Mina should divert and go through Lapai Paiko, while those from Mina to Abuja and Kaduna to use Bidda Paiko Suleja axis. Now, there are calls for drastic actions and collective efforts in building a new Nigeria at 56 and beyond for overall development. Taratu Izurike reports that this was the standpoint of discussants on NTA's Tuesday Live as they stressed the need to keep alive the vision of the nation's forebearers of a united and prosperous nation.
Nigerians' independence on 1st October 1960, expectations were high for an industrialized nation and a people of ethical values in conformity with the developmental drive of its founding fathers. The journey over the years was full of ups and downs, beginning with the days of promising agricultural production and exportation of produce alongside investment in solid minerals, as well as the era of oil boom. There were, however, challenges like the 1967 Civil War and subsequently the issues of militancy, insurgency, poor leadership and poverty that put doubts on the national question.
Corruption has remained the main problem, militating against progress, against national unity. Political governance has now been largely predicated on dishonesty of purpose. These are elements of the national question.
We are too tied down to the Western economies. Each time we are rich, we become profligate. We are supported by these same institutions who will advise us when the bubble bursts on how to reflate our economy.
For others, the need for sincerity of purpose for industrialization.
What is fueling corruption is this idea of $200 million, $300 million pouring into Nigeria's coffers overnight, and a few people
sharing it among themselves, and the rest of the people remaining idle and watching, and when they get tired, they carry their guns or their bows and arrows.
If we are not going to go for quick fix, we need to go back to land. We can have farm settlements, the same prototype that was in operation in Western Nigeria. The farm settlements work.
It is generally agreed that the country's challenges will soon be history, with the entrenchment of right values, particularly through the Change Begins With Me campaign to address fundamental ills. Analysts say the land will surely be green and peaceful, symbolizing its national colors of green, white, green. Talati Ezewike, NTA News.
There is an urgent need to adopt a multi-sectoral process towards developing and reviewing policies of non-communicable diseases in Nigeria to align with recommendations supported with appropriated legal acts and funding for implementation. This is part of recommendations by a committee to review and research national policy strategies on prevention, control of such diseases. Health correspondent Rashidat Mustafa Olagunju reports that though Nigeria has a robust prevention plan, it has, however, not been published or disseminated to the public.
Cardiovascular and respiratory diseases, cancers and type 2 of diabetes are the most common NCD in Nigeria and represent a leading threat to human health and development. Though the country currently has no available data on NCD, a report by the World Health Organization in 2010 says Nigeria contributes significantly to the global burden of NCD. The committee noted that though primary healthcare system has a pivotal role to play in NCD prevention, it virtually has a very weak capacity presently.
Because part of the thing we found from our study is that government is not funding NCD programs very well. We are depending on external donors, and the external donors are already tired.
The WHO recommended that every member country should conduct what we call step survey every 4 years. And you find out that the last one was done in 1991. So you can see we have been lagging behind.
They suggest moderate exercise, healthy diet, avoidance of harmful alcohol and tobacco use by people as their own personal ways of controlling and preventing the most common NCD. Rashidat Mustafa Olagunju, NTA News.
These and more as we join Zulai in Kaduna for more details.
And welcome to Kaduna. Entrepreneurship as a panacea for ensuring socio-economic development and sustainability of a developing economy like Nigeria was the focus of a workshop on business and entrepreneur journalism organized by the Voice of America in Kaduna. Tina Toro reports that the workshop was attended by journalists from the public and private media.
With Nigeria in economic recession and unavailability of white-collar jobs for the teeming youth, entrepreneurship is key in ensuring economic development and sustainability. Hence, the workshop to inculcate Nigerian journalists the right approach in reporting on issues as they affect businesses and entrepreneurs.
The important thing about entrepreneurship journalism is that society cannot grow without business. And if we don't report business, how would anybody learn how to improve on his business or her business?
The resource person, Ansem Okuno, emphasized the need for journalists to take entrepreneurial journalism serious to help grow small businesses.
Government cannot give everybody a job. We need our people now changing their orientation to now beginning to see themselves as that potential entrepreneur, but they need to know what they need to do, how they need to prepare themselves, how they also need to carry themselves to become successful entrepreneurs.
Some participants are optimistic that the workshop will help enhance their profession.
This workshop, I'm beginning to think out of my normal way and then to bring story from where people don't think there's story. That's, for me, it's going to help me a lot.
As long as you have
educate a journalist, or I mean, that's the way he will deliver it and find from, and it will go from every angle and nook and cranny of the society.
Now we are going to focus more attention on those issues that are not reported or underreported.
Entrepreneurial journalism helps in enlightening the public on opportunities available for new businesses to spring up, as well as challenges in the sector. In Kaduna, Tinatu, NTA News.
Officials of the Nigerian Union of Teachers have condemned the non-payment of teachers' salaries in some states of the Federation. They were reacting to the plight of teachers in Kaduna State at an emergency NUT NEC meeting in Kaduna. Osinaebe reports.
Tinatu, NTA News.
We seem to have a lost connection there with our Kaduna Network Center, but we'll see if we can re-establish that connection much later. But then moving on, collaborative efforts by Nigerian Tertiary Academic Institution with other Global Information and Communication Technology Institute for e-learning and multimedia to benefit youth for job has yielded positive results. This is against the backdrop of the Memorandum of Understanding entered into by the Federal Polytechnic Nasarawa. Agatha Joseph Obeha completes the story.
Inaugurating the laboratory, which was equipped with a state-of-art facility that enhanced, the board chairman of Information and Communication Technology University Foundation, USA, Professor Victor Mbarika says, e-learning is a new trend which smoothens learning and brings the world closer.
We didn't just end at the stage of the MOU, but that we actually went now to start implementing the system. We'll do a lot of training for the staff, the faculty, the students, the administrators, so everyone can plug into the system.
The Rector of the Polytechnic, Professor Shetima Abdulkadir, thanked the donor for fulfilling their part of agreement, assuring that the facility will be operated and maintained in line with global best practice.
When you go to most of the globally recognized institutions, today that's what they do, that's how they teach. Most of them don't even go to the conventional four-cornered academic campuses like we have here anymore. They teach online, most of their program. So that's what we are deploying.
The e-learning will go a long way in improving the standard of teaching and learning process when or wherever you are, without necessarily being in the classroom. From Federal Polytechnic, Nasarawa Center of the E-Learning, I'm Agatha Joseph Obiora, NTA News.
All right, it appears that we have re-established that connection with our Kaduna Network Center. We just hope that it's stronger this time. Zulai, you're on.
Thanks for rejoining us in Kaduna. Officials of the Nigerian Union of Teachers have condemned the non-payment of teachers' salaries in some states of the Federation. They were reacting to the plight of teachers in Kaduna State at an emergency NUT NEC meeting in Kaduna. Austin Ayebe reports.
The national president NUT, Michael Olobo Lukoya, any nation that toils with its primary education does that at its own peril. But this, unfortunately, is the situation primary education in many states of the Federation faces today.
For the records and in the interest of the children of the poor, in the interest of the future of the innocent child of this country, to say and emphasize that local government can never satisfactorily pay or give a qualitative primary education.
Kaduna State is one of these states where teachers are exposed to untold hardship, with many primary school teachers not paid for more than 1 year, as disclosed by the chairman NUT Kaduna branch.
Today we have teachers that are owed salary ranging 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, up to 1 year. If not for the fact that the government intervened through our effort to make sure that this payment of salary is being decentralized.
The union, making presentation to the national body, complained of non-payment of leave grant arrears of primary school teachers getting to 2 years, a situation which, if not urgently addressed, will lead to industrial action. At the Ministry of Education to verify the claim by the NUT chairman, the commissioner was not on seat, but a source off camera told the crew that government had convened a meeting and even released some money to settle the arrears. The national body advised that government of all states found wanting liaise with the union to address the problems and advise the federal government to consider quality in its planned recruitment of 500,000 teachers across the country. In Kaduna, Austin Anyebe, NTA News.
The Kano State Police Command is interacting with stakeholders to address the increase in cases of criminal activities in the state. The Police Commissioner, Rabiu Yusuf, met with them at a town hall meeting in Rano and Wudil area councils. Area commands, I beg your pardon, Sani Bashiru has the details.
The event attracted religious leaders, traditional title holders, security agencies, as well as members of the public. Community policing is a strategy adopted by the Nigerian Police Force to rid the country of criminal elements. The tour by the Kano Police Command is intended to identify security challenges and propose solutions with the assistance of eminent persons.
They live within the community. They know those that are miscreants amongst them. At least they will be in a better position to always inform the police to act swiftly.
Addressing the public at a town hall meeting, Police Commissioner Rabiu Yusuf said since his assumption to office as commissioner, he has embarked on tour to see the reality on ground. This, he said, has yielded positive results as armed robbery, kidnapping and other social vices have been reduced to the barest minimum. Various stakeholders who spoke at the forum commended the command, pledging to give all necessary support to rid Kano of criminal gangs. The climax of the occasion was presentation of awards. In Kano, Sani Wasiru, NTA News.
And that's it from here. We're back to Rhoda in Abuja for more on Nationwide.
Thank you very much, Zulai. For the fight against crime and corruption to succeed in the country, media practitioners have been urged to collaborate with the anti-graft and other security agencies. These were the position of veterans of the media industry at a one-day capacity development for crime reporters organized by the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC. Adino Justice has details.
Knowing the power of the media, its ability to make and unmake, the Economic and Financial Crime Commission, EFCC, organized this interactive workshop where veteran journalists reminded the crime reporters the process and importance of investigative journalism. A former Director General of the Nigerian Television Authority, NTA, Dr. Tony Redia, spoke on new trends and opportunities of broadcast journalism. Mr. Ibanga Isine talked on journalism, the fight against corruption. Mr. Redia, while speaking on the importance and challenges of investigative journalism, urged the anti-graft agencies to adopt better strategies with the media, saying they are important partners.
It can clear controversies, can give a lead to the EFCC to know what to follow up. It can help the public to accept the EFCC as its own institution.
We cannot claim the monopoly of knowledge of fighting corruption. Everybody is a stakeholder.
The head of publicity, EFCC, Wilson Ujering, speaks.
Our purpose is to build their capacity so that they can better discharge their responsibility both to the EFCC and to Nigeria.
The participants were drawn from both print and electronic media. Edina Justice, NTA News.
Maternal and child health receives a boost in Rivers State. These and more reports as we link up with Mina in Port Harcourt. Mina, you're on.
Hello, Rhoda. Good afternoon and welcome to Port Harcourt. The Assistant Inspector General of Police, Zone 6, Abubakar Marafa, has expressed his determination to fight crime and maintain law and order in the states under the zone. The AIG was speaking when he paid a courtesy visit to Governor Nyesom Wike in Port Harcourt. Vivian Ezadiefe has details.
The AIG Zone 6 says governors are the mainstay of policing as they provide logistic support to the different commands across the country and promise to support the state government's amnesty program.
I am ready and I hope to contribute my quota to see the crime rate is brought down to the barest minimum, which Your Excellency is witnessing within 2 months.
Governor Wike pledged continued support to the security agencies in the state. He called on the police high command X from the police for effective policing.
He explained that the state government has acquired 6 armored personnel carriers for the State Police Command, while calling on him to support the amnesty program of the state government.
We have conducive environment if police continue to play their role, if they continue to be apolitical, if they continue to see the entire society as their own constituency.
The zone, with headquarters in Calabar, comprises of rivers Akwa Ibom, Ebonyi, and Cross River states. In Port Harcourt, Vivian Ezadifi, NTA News. In line with efforts by the Federal Ministry of Health to reduce maternal and child mortality, the Society of Gynecology and Obstetrics of Nigeria, in collaboration with the National Primary Healthcare Development Agency, has inaugurated the Volunteer Obstetrician Scheme in Rivers State. Karina Igoniko has the report.
The Volunteer Obstetrician Scheme, done under the auspices of the National Primary Healthcare Development Agency, provides free quality obstetric and gynecological care for pregnant women in the rural and hard-to-reach areas in order to reduce the incidence of maternal and child deaths.
Training and retraining of those on ground so that we'll have improved health indices in terms of mothers and babies surviving in the course of pregnancy and delivery.
Nigeria has achieved another milestone, and we hope that we'll be able to access women who really need these services.
What this volunteer scheme intends to achieve is to get doctors giving their time and their skills for nothing. So communities must realize that when such people come around, it's important that they support them.
Let us, as a professional group, make extra efforts to see how we can fan out to those remote areas where healthcare is difficult to reach.
In Port Harcourt, Karina Igoniko, NTA News.
The Rivers State government says it is redoubling its efforts to ensure a greener and cleaner environment in the state capital and other towns in the state through proper waste management procedure. Vivian Ezadife takes a look at waste disposal in Port Harcourt and the current initiative of the state government. Port Harcourt, which is known as the Garden City, is fast losing its aesthetic status because of indiscriminate disposal of solid waste on road medians in some strategic areas like Rumola and Rumokoro. These respondents say not only defaces the beauty of the city and poses a serious eyesore, especially to visitors, but is also dangerous to health.
The people that are in charge, they should come and get this place out, because this is a garden city.
And for every bag of refuse you dispose properly, a peanut is paid to you, knowing that that refuse will be recycled and will be useful for the economy.
Sole Administrator, River State Waste Management Agency, Felix Obua, says since the inception of this administration, they've taken significant measures in cleaning up the city and recorded 80% achievements.
Today is a thing of the past. If you go to after Air Force Base, even Market Junction, most of all this area before now was no good area. But as I speak to you today, we have arrested that area, causing of the excellence, the logo of River State. And more or less, you can see the drainages are gradually wearing a new look.
He added that the state government has also approved the immediate desilting of creeks for free flow of water. In Port Harcourt, Vivian Ezadifi, NTA News. And that's a bit from Port Harcourt. It's back to you, Rhoda, for the rest of Nationwide.
Thank you very much, Mina. Now let's talk sports as Team Civil Defence wins their first match in the NCC Tennis League as Alan Shearer's lament England's predicament in football. Manzi Marcus reports.
The Court of Appeal has denied a recent news report to the effect that East Jos Division has granted Chris Giwa a stay of execution pending the judgment of the Supreme Court on the NFF leadership tussle, while affirming that a motion for such a prayer was indeed filed before it in Jos. The court stressed that it has not sat over the application, not to talk of granting East prayers. The court described any reports to the contrary as mischievous. Team Civil Defence of defeated debutants Team Hope of Asaba 6-1 over 2 days in one of the Week 3 matches of the Nigerian Communications Commission Tennis League. Team Civil Defense, which placed second in the 2015 edition of the league, recovered from their first match when Ikechukwu Iloputa of Team Hope beat former national champion Shehu Lawal 6-2, 4-6, 7-6 in the men's singles. Another former national champion Babalola Abdulmumin leveled scores for Team Civil Defense with a 6-1 6-love victory over Paul Emmanuel of Team Hope. Civil Defense won the remaining 5 matches away in Asaba to sound a note of warning of their intention of winning the first position in 2016.
I feel so happy, very much happy. This is the match I'm expecting so far. Coming down to Delta and grab the first win here, it's a thing of joy to Team Civil Defense.
No, EFCC has really brought great development in tennis, and we are grateful because from now to the end of the year, we'll be participating on and off, home and away.
It affords us the opportunity of growing tennis competition and taking it around the country.
Former England international Alan Shearer is lamenting that England has become the laughingstock of world football following the resignation of Sam Allardyce as England manager. The development comes after a...
And that's it on Nationwide. But just before we go, this is to let you know that you can get all our stories and much more when you log on to our website at www.nta.ng. For more news update, you can join us again at 7, and News Extra comes up tonight at 9 o'clock. On behalf of myself and the crew, we say thank you for watching. I'm Rhoda Obo.